We have a handful of women who are.
I don't even know what's going on.
Yes,
anymore.
we're here. Yeah, Desiree Couch
now?
says yes, we're here.
We did it. All right. I think so. Victoria and Gina, did you catch that whole spiel? If you didn't, welcome to the Mark and Matt date night. I thought we were live, but turns out I don't think we were. It's great to have you here, and Matt's joined us despite having other plans.
Look at this. This is how much
Matt,
I
love your hair. I just love your hair tonight.
Well, I'm trying to channel my inner Mark Rosenfeld. So, I'm just trying to get real flowy.
Guess what I did today? Guess what I did today?
What? What did you do?
I got a haircut.
Shut up. How much?
Haircut. It was a decent amount.
Show us, Mark. Show us how much.
I got my bun back to my little bun. Can you see that?
What do you think, ladies?
I had proper pandemic hair.
Why? Why'd you cut it off, dude?
It's still pretty long. It's still significantly I just want to be fresh for our date. I just want to be fresh. Just want to look good for you, Matt.
I appreciate it, bro, and I appreciate all you ladies joining us. So where's your drink? What do you got going on?
Ladies.
I'm drinking too. So.
I have got some. Are we allowed to say this, or is this going to get us demonetized?
I can't imagine it would.
I hope it doesn't. We got some Smirnoff. I got some Smirnoff going, so I'm going to be on a sugar high, if nothing else, for the rest of the night. What do you got, Matt?
Well, I'm in about 5-6 inches of snow here in Portland. It's like blizzard status here.
No way.
I am doing a famous hot toddy. Give me a 1 if y'all love the hot
toddy. If anyone's eating with me, or if I'm just going to be that weird person on the date who everyone else is looking at eating, I'm okay with that. But if you're eating with me, please.
Oh, we're eating too? Dang, dude. I would have cooked my dinner too. Jeez.
I'm all in for this day. I'm eating. So, ladies, if Matt's not going to eat with me, maybe one of you will. So, if anyone has food that they're getting in on, let us know.
Oh my God, I got to share this date night with my community. They're gonna crack up. Oh, let's get everybody in on this party.
What have we got? If you got questions for us, ladies, we are here to answer them. We are your dates for this evening, so please hang with us. We're even cooler than any other date you had planned.
Probably.
Matt needs to order some Voodoo donuts. What are Voodoo donuts, Matt?
Voodoo donuts are an amazing donut shop here. Originated here in Portland, where they do all sorts of like super complex themed donuts. My favorite donut is known as the Old Dirty Bastard, which anybody who's done the Voodoo donuts appreciates that, where it's like a chocolate glazed donut with like crumbled Reese's and caramel on top of it. It's pretty outrageous.
That sounds delightful. That sounds delightful.
Yeah, they do a bacon. They do like an eclair with like bacon and like maple syrup on, like maple glaze on it. That's also phenomenal.
I'm putting on weight just thinking about it, Matt. I got to look after my figure.
Your abs are melting away, bro.
They're disappearing. Oh, hang on. Rosa's eating with me. Thank you, Rosa. I'm no longer the weird person eating on my own. Rosa's having sweet potato and walnuts. What a combo. What a combo.
That's very healthy. I'm very impressed.
I was introduced to pistachio ice cream earlier this week, but non-dairy pistachio ice cream.
That's good.
That was something.
That's good. That also comes with its own AARP card, bro. That's some old person. That's what the old people
do.
Is
that an old people thing?
Pistachio ice cream. Don't you think of like a grandpa when you think of like pistachio ice cream or pistachio
pistachio? No, I think of there's a Disney thing or someone that says that. I can't remember what it's of. Like a potato. No, I can't remember. But no, that wasn't my impression. So, okay. So I'm beyond my years buying pistachio ice cream. Thanks for that. Thanks for that reality check, Matt. I appreciate that.
It's all good. I think Megan agrees that pistachios are for old. Pistachio ice cream is for old.
Megan, really? You're going to do that to me? Look, what's Abby? I made dark chocolate dipped in strawberries. Ooh. For all my date friends for game night. I think I win. That's pretty good. Margaret's got Dr.
I don't know what games she's for my dates, friends, games nights. I think I win. Does that mean you're the one trying to turn that game night into an orgy, Abby?
I was going to say, I like where you're going with that, Abby. That's Hey guys, I got chocolate and strawberries here. Can I just lick it off your chest? Hi.
Exactly.
Abby's that person. I like every party needs that person. Go you, Abby.
Somebody to make it a little weird. Somebody to push the envelope, right?
So Matt, how long until we can visit each other? Now I'm on your side of the Pacific Ocean.
Oh my God, you're in Vegas now, like legit, right?
Dude, check it out. I got my poster. I got a painting, and I got a picture of Vegemite to remind me of home. Right?
Oh my gosh,
it is all happening here. And I've got my change of clothes for later in the day. However, someone is sitting on them right now, so I cannot access them. But later in the day, if she moves, we're going to be getting changed here, moving into the evening portion of the date.
Is this going to be like, are you going to like go all magic Mark on us and start, like gyrating? Is that part of this? I'm just trying to tease it just so that ladies will keep watching,
When in Vegas, man. When in Vegas.
Stay till the end until Mark turns into magic Mark.
Oh, I missed that. I might. Well, Kin Star says, "What's Mark doing in Vegas?"
Yeah, it's a good question. What is Mark doing in Vegas?
That's a great question. So I'm actually on a work visa here with my beautiful partner. So,
and who are you, Mark? Who are you working for, bro? Who's your employer under that work visa?
There is. It's mainly myself, actually, Matt. Funny you asked that.
Yeah.
But no, there is an opportunity in the future on that visa that I'll be working with Matt. That Matt will I'll be doing some stuff with him. So that's in the pipeline as well.
That'd be fun.
That's going on. Who's the pet sleeping on? Mark, what are you eating? Says Maria. I'm eating my Valentine's date night dinner. Maria, I got chicken. I got some brown rice. I got some broccoli. It's all happening here. I'm feeling very healthy tonight. Australian meetup group here in Boston. Cool. That's a little way from here, but that's pretty damn cool. Is this your Valentine's date? It's short. This is our Valentine's date. It says 9D Ascension. It certainly is. If you have questions, you want to share them. If you just saw an alien yesterday and you want to share that, share that. It's all open on date night, whatever you want to talk about.
But especially, like we are men, we are out there. I'm out there, in the jungle, online dating, doing that stuff out there right now. Mark is, doing his thing. Respectively, we do have I think we could give you all some insights on men. So if you have questions about men around this Valentine's Day, please throw them at us, and we'd love to support you around.
Yes, we certainly would. We certainly would. Yeah, Matt's out there in the jungle. I've just come off a year long distance with my beautiful partner Samantha. So that was yes. That was beautiful to be reunited. So
congratulations.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, it was it's funny, the year passed like it didn't feel like a year, when we got back together. But I think that was from regular talking. We were talking like 5 days a week, most weeks on video call. So it just sort of felt like the physical presence was there, but everything else was kind of the same. The communication stuff was already there. So that stuff didn't actually change much. It's just like, now we have like the physical, so even better. So that was lovely.
Yeah.
We have some questions, Matt. Do you want to grab one? Can you see the chat, Matt?
I can.
Awesome.
Okay.
Hey, Reno.
See, so we got Love Peace says they want to meet Samantha. That's yeah. I mean, that's always a possibility. Maybe
it's a possibility. I always like to keep it separate. She does her own thing. It's not. I mean, I can ask her, but I think it's kind of nice that that's not the focus. Like, I have different stuff that I teach, and I think that background stuff can almost blur it sometimes. And it's like, that's such an important relationship to me, but at the same time, I don't want it to be the focus. I want the teaching to be the focus. And I share my learnings and things. Yeah. But I just think sometimes it gets made too much of the focus. And do you know what it probably is? It's probably a little bit of a thing that sometimes when you're in a relationship, at least for me doing this job, people say, oh, you're in a relationship, like that's great. What do you have to say? But I was saying very similar things before I met her, you know, and those same people were sort of saying, oh, well, you can't speak about that. So I sort of say, like, this, what we speak about here is going to be solid regardless of status. Yeah. And status can sometimes be, I was talking to clients about this earlier, a lagging indicator. I'm sure you know about lagging indicators, but sometimes, for example, if you go to the gym, like a ripped body it might happen 12 months down the line, but your actual metabolic fitness is kicking ass in 30 days, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So some of the stuff under the surface, I say this to clients all the time, like the mindsets under the surface might be changing very rapidly, even though you don't see anything on the outside. And sometimes those results are lagging indicators. So I just don't like to make it too external focused. I really like to work up in here with clients because I know that's where it all shifts.
That's where it shifts. Yeah. It's the inner work, you know, it's the inner work. And, you know, I completely agree with that. And we're getting lots of fun questions in the chat. This is a fun one.
Let's get to it.
What is the mindset? What is the mindset thought process? Yeah, I'll do some stuff while Mark's stuffing his face here. What is the mindset thought process of a man that says thank you after sex? Interesting question, Pink Lady. It's a fascinating question. I mean, first off, there's a degree of gratitude, obviously. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, what I'm more curious about, Pink Lady, is what's your reaction to him thanking you after sex? How are you taking that comment? You know, how are you construing that? Because a guy saying thank you after sex could just be trying to express gratitude for a beautiful experience that the two of you have shared together. And that's just the way that it came out, right? And how does that feel to you to be acknowledged for that connection? You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard to like speculate onto what drove a man to say that. Yeah, maybe he'd had a couple, maybe he was a little half in the bag. Maybe he, you know, it could be something that he was a little insecure. I mean, I don't know. You know, it's hard to speculate on what his mindset is, but what's more important is how did you receive it? Were you like, what the hell did that guy just do? Like, why would he say that to me? That was really weird. Did it trigger you in some way? You know, I'm curious, Pink Lady. Let us know. Have any of you other ladies ever had a guy thank you after sex? Like, just been like, that was, because I mean, I don't know. I'm conflicted on this because like I don't want to say that, you know, he did anything wrong, because like maybe he just really enjoyed it and he wanted to tell you how much he appreciated it, and that was those were the words that came out of his mouth. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. Could he have used different words? You know, like possibly. They could have been a little bit more deep and meaningful, but you know, I don't know. It's hard to say, like, you know, exactly where he was coming from. Malin 44 says, I always thank guys after sex. I'm so awkward. That a girl, Melon. That's great.
You know, when I've especially, look, I'll just be honest. I've not done that. And when I've spoken to female friends who have, they, especially friends that I really trust in their reads, it's always been that the guys put them on a bit of a pedestal.
Yeah. Yeah. It can definitely mean that. It can mean that he's like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like it's coming from
like you did him a favor.
Like you did him a favor. Exactly. Like Linda says, my man worshipped me afterwards. LOL. Yeah. So yeah. So, I mean, different guys are going to respond to sex different ways. And a lot of times it's a reflection of how they see themselves, how they value themselves, what their relationship with intimacy is. And so then the question you get to ask yourself afterwards is, how are you going to respond to that? Like, are you going to, you know, nurture him and maybe help him feel more safe and secure so he doesn't feel like he needs to do that afterwards? You know what I'm saying? That would be my,
I like that.
Would be my take. Yeah.
But I think tonality also matters, because who was it that talked about my man worships me afterwards? You know, if it's like you just had great sex and then he's just like, oh, I want to go down on you again. He's just like, oh, I want to worship this. And it's almost coming from a really masculine, I can't resist you frame. That's different as opposed to he lies there like, oh, thank you so much for going back with me tonight. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. Don't go there, bro.
Come on, bro.
Oh my God.
He wanted you there.
Thanks.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, if he's like, oh my God, that was amazing. Like, thank you so much. That was fucking fantastic. Like, that's like a different bag. That's like a different situation when he's coming from a space of when it's an empowered space versus a disempowered space. So really energy is everything in this as much as
you'll sort of read the difference in the tonality, won't you? I mean, I was just thinking while I was saying that, well, what if it was like his birthday and you know, went down on him for like an hour, right? Be like, thank you, that was amazing. Yes. Yeah, would be. That's
there's no shame in that game. There's no shame in thanking a girl for going down on you for half an hour plus. That merits a thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think I think women would honestly be a little annoyed if they didn't get a thank you.
Yeah, I'm like, if I'd like given my partner a long massage and then, you know, pleasured her and done all the things, made a great night, like a little appreciation, just a little bit of thank you.
Yeah, just a little appreciation is appreciated. Exactly. Okay, so Tex Gal says, insights please on getting the slow burn man to step up. So, I mean, it depends. So when you say slow burn, Tex Gal, let's start by like getting more clear on what does that look like. Are y'all in the early stages of a relationship and it's not gaining momentum emotionally? Like, is it not gaining momentum physically? Is he slow to open up to you? A lot of times men who, you know, have avoidant attachment style, or maybe they have trauma in their past, or they have intimacy, they were modeled, you know, a different experience of intimacy by their parents. They're going to be slower to open up. Like, they're just going to be slower to open up, and it's going to be up to you. I talk a lot about how a woman is the conductor, right, of the emotional and communicative aspects of relationship. So it's up to you to really set an example, set the tempo, like let them know what vulnerability looks and feels like for you. Ask them, you know, deep questions, like be that catalyst for intimacy with them, you know, and help guide them into having more momentum around communication and stuff like that, you know, like it's just sort of a starting point, but with more context. Interesting. So Tex Gal says good emotional momentum, but so slow physically. So it's like the opposite of like the normal situation. And I love those are always super interesting. So his slowness in how he's pursuing things physically, it could be because he's afraid. He's created a story that if he goes too fast, it's going to sabotage the relationship, because maybe that's happened in the past. It could also be that potentially, you know, he's got some wounds around physical intimacy from a past relationship, or a different thing like that. So in a situation like that, the most important thing in my experience, and Mark, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this, is to really cultivate safety for him, you know, and help him truly know and understand that you really do want him, that you crave him, that you want to experience him physically, and invite him forward. Like, be more initiate oral sex with him, like really help draw him physically out of his shell. You know what I'm saying? And that'll help him create more confidence around that physical connection and help things move forward faster. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to that. I think that's great advice. Just holding that safe space for him to be physical, encouraging him. A lot of these guys have shame around sex, which I grew up with, so I can actually relate to that. And so it takes just any guy with shame around anything. In fact, this applies to anyone with shame around anything, is they need some experiences of not feeling judged and criticized for it, because in the past they have been. So in this context, it's a man with sex. So he in the past in some way has learned some shame lessons around sex, or is just not fully connected to that. So he's going really slowly, probably thinking, oh, I really want to respect her. I don't want to creep her out. While you're going, come on, man, like a little more for me.
Just choke me a little. Come on.
So the more you bring that in and just show that you love it and don't judge him for it. If he's a little fumbly, if he takes a little while to get hard, you know, those sorts of things. If you're just super playful and chill about it, that whole fear of like, she's going to criticize me, she's going to criticize me, she's going to criticize me. She didn't criticize me. Cool. Yeah. Okay, I'm all right. I'm safe. I'm good. And then he'll sort of really step into himself. So leaving the space for him to do that, and don't get into, you know, any mum mode, you should do this mode, criticism mode. If you really hold space and encourage it, most guys will step up in that scenario and really get some beautiful growth in confidence as a result as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a client whose boyfriend, she was very serious with this guy, but their relationship was falling apart because he would never initiate really physical intimacy with her. And so I invited her to stretch out of her because she was used to guys constantly pushing the envelope with her physically, like always them constantly, initiating everything. And I was like, cultivate safety with him by initiating oral sex. See if that helps empower him to start taking initiative more often. And she started doing that. And lo and behold, he started initiating more often. And she ended up finding out because he started ordering her all these shoes and he would like ask her to wear shoes during sex. And she found out that like he had like a foot fetish, so they went from like not having like any type of sexual congruency to, her understanding his fetishes because she started taking the initiative and empowering him by initiating oral sex. So, I mean, it's incredible what can happen when you start to create safe physical intimacy around relationships. So,
yeah, I think if you've got any guy that has any sort of sex is slow, shame around sex, any of that sort of nice guy leaning stuff where he's not able to fully get in his masculine around sex, just remember, for most of these guys, their number one fear is they don't want to be creepy. They've over internalized the message of I don't want to be creepy. So if you can just do the opposite to that and your energy is super solid, like that it's normal, that you love it, your energy is just super chill, all his worries about being creepy will just dissipate. And he'll get a lot of healing, a lot of really nice healing out of it.
Exactly. So let's see here. We got Carmela, one of my amazing students and coaches from Carmela Greco. She says, what's your opinion on a guy who asks you out every week, goes out of his way on dates, but no texts in between dates? He's too busy. What do you think, Mark?
I think that he is not able to fully invest because he's being avoided. So between the dates, he's having a great time when he's there and he's losing himself, but that fear of closeness is inhibiting his ability to really move forward between dates. So what I would do is set boundaries with him, essentially, is at some point, like, this guy needs to feel, not because he has to, but because he chooses to, that if he doesn't step up and do more than that, that he's going to blow it with you. That's the essential piece that I believe he needs to feel, because if he is avoidant leaning, where he's like, great when he's with you, he's all in, and then he steps away, that's his comfort zone. So he's going to sort of, a little bit like a boat in a river, it'll sort of flow down the path of least resistance unless someone puts an oar in the river. So the only thing that's going to make him put an oar in the river, or at least make him think about choosing to, is he has to know what your standards are and then make a voluntary choice if he's going to step up to that. So the way this might look is this. Let's say that you guys go on a date and it's really great, and he's like, hey, I'm going to call you tomorrow, or hey, looking forward to seeing you soon. And you say, yep, that'd be great. Can't wait to hear from you, right? So you give him that green light. And then you don't hear from him for a week. And then he texts you and he's like, oh, hey, I want to see you soon, right? Especially if this is like the second or third time it happened. This would be a good opportunity to share with him. And whether you do it over text or voice message, but this is a good opportunity for you to say, like, hey, I get the sense, that you're sort of 50-50 on this. And he might even deny it. He might be like, no, I'm super into you. But you sticking to that and saying, look, I that's the vibe I get. And what I'm looking for is just someone with consistency. If that's not you, that's okay. But I just kind of wanted to be really honest with you about what I want to filter into my life. And that kind of gives him that choice, because he's then going to say, oh, shit, I got to step up to get this one. I've got to lean in. I've got to put the oar in the water. Or he's going to go back to his old patterns, which means you have all the clarity you need to go date other guys. So at some point, there's usually a little information gathering piece where the guy is like, oh, I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I'm going to realize in head, oh, shit, I'm going to lose her. And you just clarify that with him.
Yeah.
You can do it gently, but it's still firm. And it should allow the guy the choice to say, hey, this is me. This is kind of what I'm looking for. Take it or leave it. That's okay. You know where I stand. I like you. I'd like to move forward. But if that's not you, I'm okay with that. And that like disattachment to the outcome, that willingness to walk away, it just creates a lot of internal tension in him. And it's like a healthy tension. It's the tension that comes with healthy boundaries. Mm-hmm. So he then decides to either step up and do more of that or to step out of your life for someone who can. But he's going to know that you're like, if he doesn't see you for a week and then doesn't hear from you, every guy knows like, oh, she's going on another date. She's going to meet someone else. That urgency starts to creep up.
Yep.
So sometimes he kind of needs that thrown in his face to know, all right, my options here are A, I get my shit together with this woman, or B, I let it go and I've lost her. There's got to be that tension between the two. Otherwise, he'll just float down the river.
Yeah. Yeah. Boundaries don't exist. Boundaries don't exist unless there's consequences backing them up. You know, like boundaries don't exist unless there's something behind it, right? And like and I agree with Mark 100%, Carmela, that your guy, he's like the way he's so conditional about intimacy with you. There's no contact between dates. He always sets the next date, but there's no contact between dates. He didn't ask you out for Valentine's Day, which in and of itself, if you've been dating this guy a little while, that's kind of a deactivation strategy in itself. The fact
if I've been dating a girl for a while and then she's like, I'm busy Valentine's Day, I'm like, cool. She's more into someone else right now. Might sting a bit, but at least we got the clarity. You know what? That she's not choosing me 100% right now. That's okay. Right?
Exactly. So this is an opportunity for you, right, Carmela, for you to set positive, constructive boundaries and be like, listen, I love spending time together. And I also love every time I hear from you, it brightens my day, and I love having bright days. So, you know, can we text a little bit during the week? Like always start from a space of, you know, positivity, grounded in a positive feeling statement, and ask for what you want rather than talk about how you don't like what you don't want. You know what I'm saying? You always want to start there. And if he's unwilling or unable, or he says, no, that doesn't make any sense, then you can start to go into, you know, okay, well, when I don't hear from you during the week, you know, the story I make up about it is that you're not a priority for me, or that, you know, I'm not important to you, which makes me feel, you know, kind of neglected and everything else. And I'm not saying Ann says isn't giving an ultimatum bad. And I'm not saying give an ultimatum like do this or I'm out. What I'm saying is you invite him to take action. Right. And you say, it would make me feel good. I would love it if you did this. Right. Always try to ask them to do what you want them to do, because it's going to make you feel a certain way. Because a man who is invested in you, he's invested in how you feel. And so it's up to you to sort of invite him to take action based upon how it's going to make you feel in a positive way first. If he continues to resist it, then you get to escalate, right? And basically be like, you know, if you're not able to text me if you're not able to have more contact with me than just on our dates, you know, like that's just not enough. That's just not enough for me. That's not going to, you know, have me feeling like I want to feel in relationship. And I'm going to have to move on and find somebody who does, you know? So at a certain point, he needs to know that there's a consequence to him not being able to be fulfilling for you in what he's doing and how he's showing up, you know?
Yeah. As Matt said before, any boundary that men actually listen to, that men actually respect, it has to have an action that you may not have to take it, but a man has to believe that action is coming.
Yes.
Right? It has to have the action at the end. So if the action is like, if I'm on the screen, if the action is like here, ultimatums often come with this idea of threat. And that's not what this is about at all. There's no threatening here. Ultimatum is like, do this or this, right? If I say to Matt, do this or this, Matt, I want you to run around the room naked, or I'll take all your food out of your fridge for a week, right? That is an ultimatum. That is an ultimatum. We're on a date, Matt. Just run with me here, all right? If I say that to Matt, that's an ultimatum, right? It's threatening. I'm removing choice, right? So fundamentally, Matt has control of Matt's actions. So if I say I'm going to take all the food out of your fridge if you don't run around in circles naked, then I'm removing choice. So I'm stepping over a boundary into Matt's actions and like reaching over and trying to like control it, right?
And what kind of energy do you think you're embodying when you do that?
Me personally?
Oh no, I'm saying like from the perspective of a woman. If she does that, she's stepping deeply into Matt. It's a very like if you were to tell me, Matt, run around the room naked or I'm gonna kick your butt or whatever, like that's a very masculine power play on me.
Right.
To do.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So when we're talking ultimatums here, it still has consequences, but it's not a threat. And the reason it's not is because he still has 100% control of his actions.
Yes.
Right. If I say to me, Matt, what you do is entirely up to you. Right. I just want to let you know from my end that it would mean a lot to me if you ran around the room naked. Right. If that was something you're open to.
Yeah.
Right. Matt's free to say no. And I have every right. Look, if I really want to do this, I could say, look, my friends, Matt, I'm just going to let you know my friends run around the room naked. Like that's what we all do together. So if that's not you, that's okay, right? Like I'm cool, but that's something that's important to me and a friend. So if not, then we maybe do need to go our separate ways, and that's okay too. I'm still giving Matt choice, but there's still consequences. Do you see it?
I'm still empowered. I'm still empowered to make that decision. I'm still in my masculine. You know, even in the back of my head, I'm like, why does Mark want me to take my clothes off and run around? Why do his friends do this? This
You're just a good-looking guy,
right?
Good-looking friends. You're a good-looking guy. We all do it.
We're doing magic Matt auditions. It's basically like, this is your audition, time to get on stage and, you know, pull out your best Channing Tatum and make it happen, you know? And I'm like, all right, well, I guess it's just stripper crew. Let's do this. So, yeah, but I'm going to feel empowered to make that own decision. You want a man, as you're expressing boundaries to him, to feel empowered to either, you know, come into alignment with them or not. So it's never like you trying to like railroad him, because if you do come over the top and you try to control him, A, you're stepping into your masculine, and B, you're activating his mama trauma. You know, you're being his mom, laying the smackdown on him, being like, go take out the garbage. But why, mom? Because I told you so, because I'm your mother. Now shut up and go do it. Right? That's what that's what most moms said to us our whole lives. And you don't want to start getting categorized into the mama zone. Like, when you're expressing your needs to a man.
100%. Yeah. So eventually, and the cool part is when you've got those consequences at the end, right? Especially when men can really feel that early, when it's a hard boundary for you, the way you say it, there won't be any threat, there won't be any ultimatum, but a man can tell that 5 steps ahead, the consequences will hit. So for example, you might be on a third date, and let's say you get a sense that after 3 or 4 really good dates that a guy is just being like a little bit, you know, he's still wanting to play the field a little bit. He's still wanting to be out there. He hasn't committed exclusiveness to you yet, but you kind of get the sense that maybe he's not all in it for a relationship. You know, you're that far in that you're at the point, especially if he, you know, he's not fully showing up. You get the feeling you're not fully a priority. You have every right to say to him, just like, hey, look, I just want to let you know, I'm just gonna be really open here and just sort of speak my truth here, that like I'm in a position in life where I'm kind of looking for something, where I'm looking to grow something. And, you know, I'll just be real. Like, I'm not the girl that's looking to be someone's second priority. Right. So I want to let you know that. And if you're not in a space where you kind of want to work towards something, that's okay. Like, I just want to look for something real and for someone on that same page. So if that's not you, that's okay. But can you just be honest with me and let me know? And just let him sit with that. But do you see how kind of the tones of that, the way I use tonality in that, it sort of says that 3 steps down the line, 3 or 4 steps, there's going to be a hammer coming down. There's going to be consequences. It's not like you know, I really hope he commits, like, or you should really commit to me if you're serious. There's none of that. There's no control. It's just like, hey, I'm just letting you know, like 5 steps ahead here, if this continues, there's going to be, I'm going to have to rule you out, if I'm being honest. I don't really want to do that because I like you. But the guy can sense right back at this point that, this one has consequences. Okay, I've been put on notice. So he can then choose his decision based on that.
Yeah. So that was a great 100%, man. And that's just a great unpacking of boundaries and of all the stuff that we're talking about. And so you can set boundaries and express your needs in a way that are both empowering to you and empowering to him. You know, he understands your position, and he also understands that he has a choice, that you're not going to try to force him to make one decision or another, because you value yourself and your needs to such a degree that, you know, he's free to do whatever he wants. You're not going to try to push him in one way or the other, right? That's a very high value move to make. And men respect women that do that. Like we do. We respect a woman who's like, listen, you do whatever you want, but this is what's important to me. And you can either be in alignment with it or not. But if you're not, then I'm going to go find someone who is.
Yeah, it's sort of that, like, look, you are where you are.
Yeah.
But if that's where you're at, like, don't fuck me around.
You don't, yeah, exactly.
Like, she just kind of gives off that energy that this is a queen, she has boundaries, and I can't get away with this here. So I get to now make a choice as a man. Do I really want to work for this and sort of put that oar in the water, or do I float off in my own lane? Up to me. We always want to decide. Don't force us.
Yeah, don't force us, ladies. Force us, you emasculate us. It hijacks the polarity of the relational container. It puts you in your masculine. It puts him in his feminine. It puts him on the defense, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So we've pretty much taken this about as far down the rabbit hole as we can. Let's find another. Yeah, we have a million questions here in the.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's see. Shayna asks, any advice when you get nervous and talk like a crazy woman out of nervousness? That's a great question, Shayna. So I'm assuming you mean with a guy that you like, or a guy that you're like emotionally, you've already got some attachment there, right? So I think the first thing to look at is within yourself, right? If every relationship and the way we're showing up is a mirror for our relationship with ourselves, ask yourself, why do I get so nervous? What am I afraid of? Am I afraid that if I don't act or be a certain way, that he's not going to like me or see me or appreciate me? Like, how deep is my fear of rejection? Right? Like, what story have I created about my own identity that's leading to me having so much anxiety around intimacy? You know, this is where it's really important to look at what's triggering you in that situation and ask yourself, right, what do I get to shift so that I'm no longer outcome dependent on my connection with this person? Because a lot of times, you know, we talk like a crazy person while we're nervous talking to a potential partner because we're afraid of it not working out, because we've become attached to it going a certain way, to being seen a certain way. I want you to remember, Shayna, your only job when you're out there dating, your only job when you're out there connecting with men is to unapologetically be in ownership of who you truly are. That's it. And then just to show up, be yourself in the most authentic, powerful, connected way possible. And then he's going to see you and experience you. And then he's going to respond to that. And you have no control over that. You know what I'm saying? And so if anything's getting in the way of that process, oftentimes that's scarcity conversation. That's some beliefs you've created about yourself, about your value, about your worthiness. You know, and give me a one, y'all, if y'all can relate to this. But chances are, you know, there's some healing for you to do around your own, you know, sense of worthiness or value that you're bringing to a relationship. If you're getting a ton of anxiety or nervousness when you're talking to someone that you actually like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that, Matt. Conversation, especially good conversation, it when we're really flowing, it comes from our unconscious, right? We're in a relaxed flow state. And it reminds me a little bit, who here has taken exams before, like college exams? I know, Matt, you will have had a bunch of these. I don't know if this helped you, but one thing that was massive for me with exams was I would study really hard up until the exam, right? So I'd be that guy that was standing outside the room rereading my notes, like outside the door. Everyone else is like chatting. I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'm going until they invite me into the room.
Yeah.
Right? I was that guy. But then once you're in the room, if you're still thinking and if you're still nervous at that point, it can really block you up, because all that information that's running around down here, all of your natural flow can get blocked up if you overthink. You want to be in flow state.
Yep.
So point is, once you're in the room, or once I was in the room, I would essentially surrender to the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Like fuck it. Because once you walk through that door of the exam room, it's like
game time. It's game time. Let's go. Like, there's no more learning shit. It's
like
perform or not. Yeah, I was a lawyer. You were a vet, so we're both like Olympian like test takers. Yeah.
I would I think I did 63 exams or something. I counted them up.
Oh, so many.
I'm talking actually like surrendering to the outcome.
You give it up. Mm-hmm.
I totally give up at that point. And that's not to give up and say, I'm not going to show up. But it's
Yes.
like, at this point, once you walk through that door, there's nothing more you can do then. At that point, if you're
Your
going to
only
fail
job
an
is to
exam,
relax.
yeah,
Your only
you're
job is
failed.
to relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point. Yeah.
So at that point, once you walk through that exam room door, it's like, fuck it, what will be, will be. If I'm destined here to fail, I can accept the fail.
Yep. I
And
did
it's the
everything I
same-
could. I did everything.
I could. And I take the same approach when you're talking to guys is
Yeah.
when you're actually out there, you just want to have that attitude of, fuck it, it doesn't matter anymore, I'm done. Like, have some conversation topics in your mind and sure, learn conversation topics, like practice them. But once you actually are talking to a man, you got to completely give up on the outcome. You got to accept you might fail, and that's okay.
Yeah.
If you get attacked, if you're attached to the outcome, as Matt says, it's a big problem. It just blocks you up. So just at that point, just be like, fuck it. As soon as you chat to that guy, at that point, it's just like, fuck it. I don't care anymore. I'm done caring. Like, put any form of caring about result out of your head and just be like, I'm done. If I'm going to fail, you know what? Failure, come at me. If I'm going to embarrass myself today, embarrassment, come at me. Let go of all outcomes.
Yeah. Because there are no bad dates, right? There are good dates, there are milquetoast dates, and there are dumpster fire dates. And I talk about all this, by the way. Shameless plug. I have a free course going on right now, Mastery of Connection. And I
This is a great course.
Yeah, it's an awesome course. I mean, we've had a lot of the women watching right now are from my community. They're in the course right now. We've had marriages, incredible relationships. It's a love course that transforms the way that you connect with men from the inside out. We do deep belief work. We just finished week 1. We have 2 more weeks of the course. Mark will put a link in the comments. He just put a link in the comments, and he'll put a link there's a link in the description as well. This is my Valentine's Day gift to each and every one of you. Be sure to sign up. It's an incredible experience. We do belief work, attachment style, and personality type. So by the end of this course, you have a firm understanding of who you are and why you connect with yourself and other people the way that you do. And that initial awareness is the most important part of you mastering relationship. It truly, truly, truly is, right? And so plug on that. And to follow up on what you said, Mark, about, just letting go of outcome. Like, I literally would stop studying by the time I got to the day before an exam. I would study for a month leading up to my law school exams. And by the time I got to that last day before, I'd literally go to like the spa. I would go play tennis. I just had to relax because I knew that I had done everything I could do at that point. So just the fact that y'all are here the night before Valentine's Day, the fact that you watch Mark's content, you watch my content, you grind away on this stuff, every day, you all are doing the work. So by the time you get in front of a man, just relax and just trust that you're going to be able to implement what you learn. And I want to leave y'all with Lynn's asking, what's a dumpster fire? Okay, so the 3 types of dates, and I talk about this in the course, all right? So this is something I don't know about, but you've got good dates. Good dates are the dates where you have polarity, you have chemistry, everything's going great. And, those are dates that are teaching you all the things that you want, right? And how to show up. Right. Then you have milquetoast dates. Milquetoast dates are dates where the guy's all right. You're not that invested in him, but it's an opportunity for you to practice being in your power, right? For you to be authentic because because a lot of times with good dates, you're in your head, you're nervous about it, right? So good dates are challenging a lot of times because you have a tendency to get nervous, right? And step out of your authenticity. Milquetoast dates, you don't really care how it goes. Because he's probably not a guy that you even want to date long-term anyway. So it's an opportunity for you to just practice being a badass. You know what I'm saying? And then dumpster fire dates, those are dates that are just awful, right? Where the guy is just completely out of alignment for you. And those are great dates too, because they're a great opportunity for you to practice setting boundaries, for you to own your voice and talk about what you don't like, and for you to understand the contrast of what you don't want in relationship. So I celebrate dumpster fire dates. I have dumpster fire dates sometimes, and I make them fun. Like if I meet up with somebody and I'm like, I went out with a girl one time who, I've gone out with, I went out with a girl once who had explosive Tourette syndrome, like violent I had no idea before meeting. This is when I was in college. I met up with her and she was screaming. She started screaming profanity at me. involuntarily. And I was like, interesting. Okay, this is an opportunity for me to practice unconditional love and acceptance, right? In a situation, like she should have told me that beforehand. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't. And but it ended up being a beautiful learning experience for me. You know, that whole date was, right? And so no matter what type of date you're having, a good date, a milquetoast date, or a dumpster fire date, it's an opportunity for you to learn and expand and practice your skills and become a better connector with the masculine. Practice stepping into polarity, you know, being in your feminine and activating and inviting him in his to step into his masculine. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I talk a lot about the successes in dates that don't necessarily come from, hey, finding a relationship. I have to find a relationship this day. I think that's one of the magic pieces about dating, especially if, like me, you're kind of an introvert, you're a little bit socially anxious, or you've had that in your background. Dating really pushes our comfort zones in so many ways. And yeah, it is a bit uncomfortable at times, especially a socially awkward date. It doesn't feel very good, but it's one of those things that, especially if you have a focus like Matt's talking about, what lesson can I take away? How can I enjoy people more? I mean, dates. I once went on a date with a woman. She talked about nothing but coriander the whole day, right?
But no, not the entire date.
75% of the day was coriander, and this was a 4-hour date. It was just like, but I just thought it was hilarious because I'm like, I'm just going to remember this date forever. You know?
Yeah, exactly. See how you didn't get pissed off about it? You decided to have fun with it and be like, this chick's going to talk about one herb for 4 hours. Fantastic. I had a woman screaming legitimate profanities at me every 30 seconds for 2.5 hours. And instead of walking away from her, you know, I said, cool, this is an opportunity for me to like step in and practice unconditional presence and love for another human being, you know? And, you know, it's like every date has an opportunity for you to expand and step into a greater recognition of yourself. You know, Randy says, I'm loving the course and the realizations are mind blowing. Love it.
Nice. Yeah. Lots of good feedback on the course. It's amazing. I read a few up here as well. Got to scroll all the way up to find them. Loving the course. Course is great. Matt's course is amazing. It's excellent, says Kate. Let's go to another question now. I'm going to scroll up a little bit here. Court says, I've been dating a guy for a year. I told him that I have deep feelings for him, that I'm afraid to get my heart broken. He said,
why don't you bring it up on the screen, Mark? Can you?
Oh, yeah, I can do that, can't I?
Yeah, there you go.
Genius. I've been dating a guy for a year. Man, I'm under the questions again. Do you remember?
Bro, you gotta get up higher, bro. You're always
like stand
so
taller. There we go. All right. If I'm back here a bit.
How tall are you?
I want to get changed, but my little one is on my change, and I don't want to move her.
Is this a cat or is this your girlfriend?
What do you think, Matt?
I'm assuming the cat because of your tone just now. I did think girlfriend last time, but now I think it's more likely your cat.
You are correct. It is the cat. I don't know, ladies. I don't really want to move the cat. Should I get changed and move the cat, or should I just leave the cat and keep wearing what I'm wearing?
I think they want to see your outfit change.
Matt, you don't understand how cute the cat is right now. Like, hang on. I need to put this in context because I think Matt's taking.
I've never seen a man so attached to his cats.
I don't know if it's going to let me do this. Hold on. No, is this going to work? I don't think this is going to work. Hang on.
Oh my God.
Nah, this is not going to work. Never mind. I just can't. I don't know. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to snap a photo. So, ladies, before you vote, this is my cat right now. Hang on. All right. Here we go.
Let me see.
That's her right now.
That's
cute. Do you really want me to move her? Do you really? Vote in the comments, and we'll see. We'll see.
A one if you want him to move the cat and put on his sexy pink outfit or whatever he's got going on there. 2, if you want the lazy cat to just sit there sleeping on his clothes forever, and you all don't ever get to see
leave him. Leave the cat. It's super cute. What's either one turning around naked? Yeah, Matt. Maybe you could maybe we can switch this up. Wait, Matt, do you have somewhere? Do you have a time limit, Matt, for our day?
No, I don't, man. Y'all, this is it. This is my night. So.
Excellent. I'm running out of drinks. I gotta get some more drinks soon.
I know. I might have to order some. I'm gonna order some. I might order some Thai food.
Get some Uber Eats. I've been dating a guy for a year. I told him that I have deep feelings for him, that I'm afraid to get my heart broken. He said he won't break my heart, but I thought he would say more. Should I back up? Court, I would love to know some context here, because to me, if you've been dating a guy for a year, there should be a really good, I mean, if you've been exclusive after a couple of months, and let's say you've been in that situation for 10 months, I'm quite concerned that there's this much uncertainty after a year. So I don't quite know the context.
Yeah, we need more context. We need more context around the trajectory of your relationship. Are y'all exclusive? The fact that you're being vulnerable with him is basically indicating that you've had your heart broken in the past, right? And him saying that he won't break your heart is a vulnerable. I'm going to grab another one here in a second. Maybe him saying he won't break your heart is him being vulnerable. Remember, intimacy is very subjective. You know what I'm saying? So what may feel like an incredibly intimate share for him, you might feel like, like not enough. And also you want to look at your attachment style, right? So if you maybe have anxious attachment style, you're going to construe everything he's saying and doing through the lens of, is he going to leave? Could this potentially be a sign that he's about to leave? Give me a 1 if y'all got some anxious attachment style out there. I know we got some out there. I mean, because it's definitely something that
I was just going to add here as well. I think tonality matters a lot here when he says this. Is he saying, did he text you this, or did he, sit down and get really raw and look you in the eyes, take your hands and say, I am not here to break your heart. That's the last thing I want to do.
Yeah.
They're very different approaches. So I think
that could be a very powerful, loving, like, I am not here to break your
gesture.
heart.
Yeah. I will not do that to you.
Thing. Oh, Court says we're not exclusive yet, but so far he looks out for me. One day my tire went out and he came to help. That's nice. Okay, but after a year, y'all aren't exclusive. So I'm curious. So what are y'all waiting for at a year? If there's a year of not being exclusive, then it sounds like fundamentally there's something that's keeping it from moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Because after a year, you kind of know. I mean, in my experience and the experience of most people I work with, like, by the time you've gotten to know somebody for a year, you recognize whether you want to move forward into an exclusive relationship with them or not. So if you're afraid of getting your heart broken, but you're staying with a guy after a year who's unwilling to be exclusive with you, that's you're treading into dangerous ground.
It's actually a recipe for getting your heart broken.
It's exactly it. Exactly. Yeah.
Just a shout out to the Torty lovers in the house here. Yvette is with me. Where else? We've got a question from Matt here about animals. We got the dog. The dog's in here in the house.
One of two. Mr. Bosco, my original
lovely comment. Thank you, Isabella. Matt, there he is. There's our answer. Now, if I tried to do that with my Torty, I would be ripped, not in a good way, as in I'd be clawed and bitten and she's so cute.
It's because cats are fundamentally inferior pets to dogs. I mean,
does anyone actually agree with that, ladies? No, Matt, no. He's very cute, but no. Cats are not fundamentally inferior.
Try to pick up your cat, bro, to make your argument. Pick up your cat and let's see how much your cat loves you.
She's too beautiful, Matt. I don't want to disturb her.
Also, she'll rip your.
She's too cute. She just has boundaries, Matt. Right? Just because your dog can be interrupted in her sleep, my cat has healthy boundaries, right? And she sets a very good example for anyone who wants to learn boundaries.
Yeah, so ladies, if a guy tries to pick you up, just take your claws out and shred their face. That's gonna really help you attract a great relationship.
I just want to highlight Ali's comment here and maybe just leave this on the screen for the next 20 minutes or so. I feel it's important.
The cat versus dog debate.
Oh dear.
Is on. Okay.
How to deal with the relationship when the woman is more masculine and the man is more feminine? I'd be curious to know, Sin of Anima, when you say deal with, what specifically is the problem you're wanting to deal with? Because it very much depends on your It depends on your situation. Some people have very happy relationships where they're totally okay with this. So I guess it depends what you mean. At least the way I read this, it depends what you mean by deal with. Your thoughts, Matt?
How to deal with the relationship. So I'm assuming you're the feminine person and you're the feminine dominant partner in the relationship. You're a little bit more in your masculine. He's a little bit more in his feminine. So first off, I always like to say that each partner has their own personal polarity, right? So not everybody has the same amount of masculine and feminine energy within them. Some women naturally in a healthy way have a little bit more masculine energy than others. Not necessarily a bad thing, right? But if you're dealing with a man who maybe has a little bit less masculine polarity than you, then that's an opportunity for you to get a man to step up and step in, right? So I want you to ask yourself, are you making a continual invitation for this man to step into the masculine? Are you allowing him to plan dates? Are you allowing him to be the physical driver of the relationship, right? Are you letting him pick you up? You know, are you letting him lead? Because a lot of times women get into this pattern in this cycle because they've relied on masculine energy to create safety for themselves. And give me a one, ladies, if y'all can relate to this. A lot of times women get into this pattern because of trauma or because of a shitty dad or whatever else, where they just find themselves where they have to create their own safety by being both the masculine and the feminine partner in a relationship. And that's all well and good. That'll keep you safe, but it'll also be very emasculating to men that you're in a relationship with. So if you want a man to step into his masculine with you, you get to give him the space to do so, because you can't be in the masculine side of the relational container and expect him to be there too. Because if you're both in there at the same time, it's war. It doesn't work, right? And he's going to say, screw it. I'm just going to be more submissive. I'm going to be more,
Lean back, take it easy. She'll do it.
Yeah, I'll just let her take the reins. She can pick the place to eat. She can do whatever. And yeah, that'll be okay. But at the end of the day, you're going to feel exhausted and frustrated. He's going to feel emasculated and checked out and resentful. And the relationship's going to fall apart because y'all have collapsed polarity. So where can you take a step back and invite him to take the reins of certain aspects of the relationship? How can you empower him? You know, how can you acknowledge him for what he's doing in the relationship? How can you let him know how much you loved, you know, how much you loved what he did when y'all were having sex? You know, how much you appreciate all the things he does for you. Men love being acknowledged for their actions. That's one of the fundamental things you can do to empower a man in his masculine. You know, these are all things you need to think about, because if he feels like you're constantly the one with the reins and you're constantly frustrated with the fact that he's being a little bitch or whatever, you know, then you've put him in a situation where, yeah, the polarity of the relationship isn't going to work. And it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better unless you change that paradigm, because he might have pulled away or checked out. That's my just, you know, initial.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I love that, Matt. Yeah, it's so easy to get into over-functioning to maintain your own safety. I'll do this, I'll do that. But I say to especially my over-functioning clients, sometimes you just got to lean back and watch the world burn. Right. And sometimes that means, you know, if you're used to doing everything around the house, sometimes that means leaning back, saying, hey, babe, shall we split the duties? And then maybe he's lazy with his, but you just leave it. You just leave space. And it's always interesting that when a client's more of an over-functioner type, what she actually has to do is minimal effort, right? It's leaning back. Physically, you're actually doing less, but it produces a huge amount of anxiety. So you do the thing, and then you got to deal with the anxiety, right? I'm just going to lean back. I'm just going to let him lead. I'm just going to trust. And then if you're more of an under-functioner, if you are more, hey, I lean back far too much, right? And some men you'll date will be like this as well, right? It can be anxiety producing to step up, but once you do it, you feel better. So in other words, if you find yourself where, hey, I'm being the masculine container, I'm taking too much control here, then it's about leaning back into anxiety. If you're more of the, hey, I'm ending up relationships where I'm controlled, where I'm with narcissists, where I'm feeling like I don't have a voice, where I'm basically getting walked on in some way, where there's no boundaries, then stepping up is actually your anxiety-producing growth activity.
Mm-hmm.
Helena talks about that a lot. Yeah, nice. I like it. Big shout out to Helena. She is probably with her lovely fiance tonight. Helena, if you're watching, give us a shout out.
Say hi, Helena.
Hi, Helena. We miss you. Let's know other questions here. What have we got here? Who else has posted questions? Isabella. I'm single. I watch hours of relationship advice videos, and my ex still didn't appreciate me. Isabella.
It's not
about making the wrong person appreciate you. It's about
He's the ex for a reason, girl.
It's about setting the standards for what you want so the right person can step up to them. There's two ways to use dating advice. Number one is to improve yourself. Can be through like social confidence, dating confidence, all these different pieces, relationship confidence, vulnerability, all that. Improve yourself so that you can attract the right person. Or number two is to try to bend yourself so you can attract the wrong one. Or move and tactics so you can attract the wrong one. This is why if you have that attachment to the wrong person, it can be a real challenge, because a lot of people come to us where it's like, hey, I want to get this person. When if they're really honest with themselves and they're in their best selves, they know that that's not what they want to accept for their life. But because of our previous triggers or traumas, we get super attached to one person, and it's actually the clearing of that bandwidth that allows the right person to step in.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, just the fact that you're craving, gosh dang it, with this blizzard, I can't even order food right now. This is very disappointing. I don't know what I'm going to do, Mark. I'm going to starve to death. I'm like trying to order Thai food.
Just have more drinks on an empty stomach, man.
What could possibly go wrong?
How long have you been empty for?
Let's just be on the internet with 200 women just drinking on an empty stomach. What could possibly go wrong? Talking about sex with Mark Rosenfeld on YouTube, you know? I mean, sure, screw it. Let's just do that.
Right, hold on. My cat's awake. Matt, hold the fort for one moment.
Oh my God.
Hi, Lucy. Hi. Can I borrow this? Oh, she's going to hate me.
See, he's asking for consent. Isn't that lovely?
She's going to hate me. She's not. I don't think I can do it.
He said, can I bother you?
Can I have it? Come on. Oh, she hissed at me. Oh,
I heard, did anybody give me a one if you heard that hiss?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lucy. Liz, can you come back?
This man,
bro, she hissed at me.
I heard it, bro. I heard her.
All right. Hold on. I'm going to change here.
That was extremely aggressive.
All right, do we need another question? Hey, hang on.
Yeah, let me see. I'm trying to order some food. Who wants to order me some? I live in the northeast part of Portland. Is anybody
in Portland and able to deliver some food to Matt? Actually, if you've got a drone, we could probably get an airlift. Has anyone got a drone? We could airlift some food in there.
I'm wasting away here.
Matt, let's give 200 women your address and just
I was gonna say, I'm gonna just put my address on the internet. That's another thing that'll definitely work out.
This is a very sweet comment. I found the perfect man because I put into practice what you teach from Linda.
Yeah, Ali Graham says I'm suffering in this snowpocalypse too. Yes, the Ali, you're in Portland with me. It's gnarly. Oh my God, she has a foot of snow in her area. I've got like 5-6 inches. It's a lot of snow. Let's see. Okay, Melon has a good question. Did you put that on there, Mark, or did I?
I did put that on there. Yeah.
Oh, good call. We're reading each other's minds here.
We're in sync, Matt. I love it.
Synced up.
We're synced up.
How long do you consider ghosting versus how long is just retreating and taking space? Lots of women say kick him to the curb after a few days.
Go, girl.
Kick him to the curb, girl.
All right, it's getting.
But I don't want to be a doormat either. Honestly, women will project ghosting after a couple days because they've got trauma around it, and that's why you want to be careful listening to your friends' advice, because your friends fundamentally, they're not looking at it through the lens of what's in your best interest. They're looking at it through the lens of their own experience. Right. That's why your friends are not dating coaches, and why your friends should not be your dating coaches. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's it's hard to say what's a firm and a hard and fast. Oh wow, looks like he's got on some sort of
I am ready for the late night, Matt.
Oh boy, oh my gosh, I need to get my. But as far what I would consider ghosting is a man who you go on a great date or you've been dating for a while, you have a consistent cycle of communication that y'all have been in, and then all of a sudden he disappears for, let's say, a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks. Like he just disappears and goes away. You know what I'm saying? Or you reach out to him after it's been a little while and then you give no response. He gets no response. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what ghosting is. Ghosting is a consistent refusal to reestablish connection after an initial connection. So that's sort of like, well, that's my definition of it, you know? And what do you think?
I like it. I mean, I don't get too bogged down in the semantics. It's all the same. It's all the same result, right? Someone's either in your life, they're in it partially, maybe as an acquaintance, or they're not. It's just whether you label it. To me, it doesn't make a huge difference in the end. I think sometimes if I really wanted a definition, I'd say, look, when someone disappears entirely and then when they come back, they're called a zombie. But who cares, right? Oh, hello.
He's dressing down, I'm dressing up.
Bloody hell. All right, well, I'm going to get into some more drinking here. But in all seriousness, it's like, okay, they're either people show up how they want to show up. You can direct them, as we talked about earlier in the call, but after some correction, they're either going to choose to be consistent or they're not. And to me, that's really all that matters, whether or not it technically is a ghost or a zombie or a tether it's about the end result that matters.
Exactly. 100%. So the polarity in outfits.
Fans of the blazer. Apparently we're getting a Florida weather update from Sherry. I love it. Thank you, Sherry. Who else has questions?
Find us another question mark while I try to find some food.
You find some food. Matt's wasting away over there. Have you guys ever had to coach any women who got out of an abusive narcissistic relationship and honestly scared for life? 100%, Maria. I'm sure Matt has as well. Yeah, a big part of it for my clients is gaining back that confidence again. Sometimes those are the clients who may take a little bit more time out of dating for me just to recenter themselves, recenter their support network, recenter what's important to them, and also look back at those turning points where they created that. Because this isn't a blame thing, but this is just, hey, if you've got a pattern and you're the common denominator, let's have a look at the part you played. Because there's some women who attract that consistently and there's some women who never attract it. And that's not an accident, is the truth of it. So let's get in there. Let's own what's happened, because if we know exactly how it happened in the past, we've got full awareness around that, then we know what actions we need to take to prevent that ever happening again. Could be something like trusting your intuition. It could be have something like a higher value on speaking up or asking for needs or expressing emotions or any of these pieces. Once you know all that, great. We apply that in the dating environment, apply that with men. And once you've made a habit of applying a new behavior, you have a new pattern and you have new results.
I love it. I love it. And honestly,
Jess is saying, stop being so precious with the food. Make yourself a fucking sandwich and move on.
Jessica is also operating from the assumption that I have bread and meat and the components of a sandwich just magically lying around my house. Jessica, what do you think I am? A grocery store? You think I just have groceries?
Hey, Matt, guess how many loaves of bread I have in my fridge?
0. 2. Shut the front door. 10. What are you, like a serial killer? You got 10 loaves of bread?
Bro.
10 loaves of bread in their fridge.
Bro, in 2 weeks, I'll need to rebuy that.
How much bread why do you eat so much bread? It's not good for you, dude.
It's real good. It's gluten-free. I just want to point that out for those health nuts that are about to jump on me. It's gluten-free. But yeah, I found out Costco. Myself, my partner, we found Costco, 10 loaves of bread fresh in it's down to 8 now because it's been 3 days since we shipped.
Okay. It's a Costco. See, you're buying in bulk. That's a different bag of nuts. I can get behind that. I'm gonna try to order some barbecue here, please, for the love of God. Let this barbecue.
Matt's trying to order some barbecue in the snow. Good luck with that, Matt.
Yeah.
We've got a comment here. I should probably read these comments before I put them up. This one's actually about dogs. It's not a question. Dogs look for attention and validation, whereas cats are autonomous.
Yeah.
An animal that doesn't always want your attention.
I do want to say something here as I starve to death. On the whole, like women coming out of narcissistic abusive relationships. Elda chimed in on that. She said that she is a client of mine, a student of mine, who was in a narcissistic abusive marriage for 20 years, right, Elda? And just from doing our course, right, from doing my course, from doing inner work, from really like deciding to lean in and release her trauma, she divorced this guy. She met an incredible partner and got married all within 6 months, like completely transformed her relationship life all over the course of like 6 to 8 months, So I'm telling you, and Elda, how amazing has that journey been for you, right? 13-year marriage, like done, divorced the guy, found an incredible partner, like fell in love, got married. And it can happen. It can happen that fast. It really can happen that fast. And so no matter what you've gone through, ladies, no matter what abuse, no matter what narcissism, no matter what you've experienced, as long as you're committed to doing the work, releasing the pain and trauma, and moving forward into new possibility, there's so much magic that's available for you out in this world. You're not broken. None of you are irretrievably broken in such a way that you'll never be able to find love or relationship. It's just not true. Kelsey, can you find me some food? Kelsey messaged me. Kelsey, if you can find me some decent food, I will give you my address, Kelsey, on a private line. And if you can find me some food,
just have trust. Just post in the chat. Stop overthinking it.
All right, Kelsey. This is your task now, is to find me some decent food, please. Some Thai food or something, and get me some food. All right, I'd appreciate that. So that's my 2 cents on it, is that you can heal, you can grow, and you can foster a meaningful relationship no matter what you've gone through. But it starts with you learning to love yourself and being able to heal, like being able to recognize and commit to healing.
And Maria's touched on that here. Right now, she's turned that focus inward onto herself, which is a very wise thing to be doing. I love that, Maria. Brianna says, go get the banana from your snowman.
Oh yeah, I made a snowman. And Brianna, I made it because it's snowing like so much here, but the snow's super dry. So I tried to make like a normal snowman, but the snow was just crumbly and shit. So I made it sort of like a mound. And then I broke off a big chunk, like a fragment of snow, and put it on top. And I used half a banana as the nose.
Can you go get a banana?
I used half a banana. I could eat a banana, but that's not dinner, man. I can't just eat a banana. That's gonna be nice.
It's a start. Can you get the banana? Where is it? Is it outside?
Now it's a frozen banana. I have.
Is it outside? Where is it?
It's outside. It's outside on the snowman, bro. It's the snowman's nose, and he's got 2 Andes mints as the eyes, and then I've got a beanie on him and a mask because he's social distancing.
I think Matt should go get the half banana and just start with that. I'd like to see that.
You want to see my frozen banana? You want to see me eat my frozen banana nose?
Kinda, yeah.
Things are getting weird on this live. No, I trust that Kelsey's gonna find me some awesome food.
Kelsey's onto it. All right, Matt's hoping for your success, Kelsey. Yeah. Let's have a look. Who else has got a question here? This is a very random. Mark, do you know my dad? Lol, he's a bread hoarder too. Brandy Jones. Not to my knowledge, Brandy, but I like the guy. We've got Unknown says, I'm with someone right now. We suddenly moved in together. He told me everything is overwhelming and he's pulling away. So I'm giving him some space. But why do I feel I'm going to lose him? Ooh, a little bit going on here. Again, I probably would love a little bit more context. It suddenly move in together. I'm curious how that happened. That's not an accident. Did he fall into your house, or was there some sort of thing like his rent was up? Because there's probably a lot to unpack with what happened there, unknown user. But it certainly sounds like being in the same place has kicked in some of his avoidance stuff, and it's having him lean away. And that might well be what's been kicking in for you. Matt, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, honestly, like, yeah, first off, how do you don't just magically end up in the same house. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you suddenly moved in together, it's because there was a crisis or some sort of exigent situation or circumstance that brought y'all into the place together. And now he's telling you that everything is overwhelming and he's pulling away. So who moved into whose place? Like, what was the context in the situation? And then if he's feeling overwhelmed by it, one of the greatest questions you can ask him is why? What's overwhelming about this, and how can I support you? You see what I'm saying? Like instead of being like this imposition, because he's created a story, right? If he's overwhelmed by the situation, he's created a story. If he's more of an avoidant type or one of these people who values his independence, he's created a narrative that, this is that you're some sort of threat or freedom to his autonomy. You're some sort of threat to his freedom and autonomy, right? So ask him that. Challenge and invite him from a safe, non-judgmental space to put words on what is overwhelming about me being in your space, about us sharing space, and how can I support you in releasing that? You see what I'm saying? Because that's one of y'all are in each other's space, and that's the situation. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it and figure out how we can work together. And if you come to him from a space of partnership, you come to him from a space of, love and support and wanting to be on the same team with him rather than be the enemy, then you're going to be able to work this. You'll be able to work this out, or you'll have a better chance of working this out. But if he's pulling away and then you just give him space, that's just going to create even more of a gap between the two of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't recommend that as a way of trying to manage this. Because how much space can you really give him if y'all are living in the same box, right? How much space can you really give him? Y'all are in the same living situation. So have a vulnerable conversation and see where it goes.
Yeah, and you might have some luck having him open up there. Matt, we've got multiple comments about the snowman. Hannah wants a picture of the snowman.
I got a picture. I'll show you a picture
of the snowman. We would love a picture of the snowman.
I got pictures.
Brandy mentions that you're halfway to a split. Brianna says smoothie might be an idea. I actually like Brianna's idea there.
I always start my day with a smoothie. If I have a smoothie now, it's going to be.
Barnitude says it's going to be $53.50 for soup, $3.50 for the soup, and a $50 delivery charge. She's probably pretty on the money with that, actually, the way Uber Eats is going. Let's have a look at.
Okay, so who wants to see my snowman? Okay, so this is. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, so you can see I put some legs on him, and he's got it wearing a beanie, and he's got a mask on, and he's got a carrot.
He's very pear-shaped, man.
He's a very pear-shaped. He's got a weight problem, but he's got an optimistic personality. He's out sitting in my front lawn chilling. Okay, so he's wearing a beanie. He's kind of a gangster. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so. I hope that y'all see and appreciate my snowman. Oh, I did have another iteration of him that
he's evolved.
I had him in a hipster hat. You see, I had him in my hipster hat from Tulum. If you can see that was a good look. That was a good look too, the hipster hat. So, he's had a couple different iterations.
How long did this take you, bro? How much time was invested in this snowman?
Too much. It was like a half an hour. It was like a full half an hour of me out there with a shovel.
I'm pretty impressed you did that. I thought you were about to say a full half a day or like a full half a week there.
Half a day. Carmela says my snowman needs a mask. He's got a mask, Carmela.
Good COVID protection. Snowmen are not exempt like the rest of us from mask mandates. That's a very good point, Carmela. Yeah. Amy has an interesting question here. How much of your personal life and past experiences should you disclose to someone that you're dating, as in a new relationship in the early stages? Is it okay to keep some information private? Amy, I actually think there's an interesting presupposition to this question that a lot of women underneath, or at least a lot of women that come to me are asking underneath this, which is almost kind of like that what's underneath is all bad. Like, I have these skeletons in my closet. Do I let them out early, or should I just kind of keep them in there? And I actually like to go after that underneath belief, because any situation can, in any situation in your past, can be something that empowers you, can be something that you learn from, and can even be presented in a really empowering way very early in dates. I mean, hit me with a situation. For example, I had a client recently. She said, "Mark, I had a year last year where I went on like 200 dates. And I'm actually really ashamed of myself now because I'm trying to reset and I'm trying to like do it differently this time. But how do I tell guys that?" And we put it in a way that she could tell on the first date and actually made her more attractive. So the way you present it is massive, and you have to believe it too. But with a couple of simple reframes, you can do that. And I, you know, if you want me to give you an example of scaling, you wouldn't go into the first date and say the thing that's 10 out of 10 vulnerable right off the bat. You might start with a 5 and then see how he responds to that. And then you do a 7 and he responds with a 7. And that's how that goes. But I just wanted to address this underlying assumption, because so many women come to me and they're like, "Oh, this is bad about my past," or "When should I tell him this?" And I like to reframe that question of when, which is presupposed by what I'm going to tell him is bad, so I have to keep it in the closet, to how. And if you tell him it correctly, and if you share truthfully the empowerment you got from it, you can tell just about anyone anything on the first date, and it's not going to make you seem bad or unattractive or any of that. None of that, because you don't have to buy into that. So if there is, if someone has a topic that they want me to give an example on, like something that you could change it, for privacy reasons, but if you have a topic, I can show you that live. But just to remember the point underneath this, you can talk about just about anything, but I would start by calibrating it up. So don't do the most personal thing first. Start to calibrate it up, but don't buy into any shame around the thing, because you don't have to buy into that.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that, Mark. And I mean, really, like, it's completely okay. Don't throw the kitchen sink at them right off the bat, but also don't feel like you need to hide who you are and what you've gone through. Like, I have a tendency to be pretty open in early stage dating because I think it's a great filter. It's a great filter. 100%. Like, if you can't handle the fact that I used to be a lawyer, or that, I went to jail for a night while I was in law school, like that I, have gone through a period of, like drug dependency, like, back when I had my restaurant. Like, I have things that I've gone through in my life. And if those are things that are deal breakers for you, I'd rather find that out sooner rather than later. I don't want to get like into an invested situation with you and then have, someone be like all sanctimonious and be like, "Oh, you struggled with, or you went through a year where you did Oxycontin. Well, that means that I can't be with you." Okay, well, if that's how rigid your rule set is, then, I'm glad that I don't want to waste any more time with you. You know what I'm saying? So I tend to lean towards being more open than not, because I feel like it's a good barometer of somebody's value set. Because I can't 100%. Be with somebody that's got like a hyper rigid sort of like tunnel vision, like set of what's an acceptable type of human experience. Because I've had a wide spectrum of human experience in my own life. I need someone who's open to all of that.
Who here asked for an example? There's a couple of you. Let's take Sally. So Sally says, "An example for Mark. I've been cheated on repeatedly and it's a point of anxiety for me. How do I broach that topic?" Well, you could broach this any way where you're talking. Let's say that the date comes into a challenge for you, something you've grown from. Pretty typical date topics, like what's something you've learned. So you bring it in with that, Sally. So let's say your date says, what's something you've really learned about other people, or what's something you've learned from the past 5 years? You say to him, "Okay, do you really want to know something?" Your date will go, yeah, sure. You go, "Okay. Well, growing up, I had a lot of struggles, right? And one of my struggles was with confidence. I struggled with confidence. I did a lot of learning to know why that was. It was actually struggling with getting along with school and with fitting in there, and that came from parents. But anyway, I learned through all of that. But what that led to was, in my early relationships, I didn't have a solid sense of self-respect. I didn't even know what boundaries were. I didn't know any of this. So I'd get into these relationships and I'd start to create this pattern where again and again, I wouldn't respect myself, right? And I'm like creating this pattern, but it took me doing it 3 or 4 times. I had guys betray me. I had guys cheat on me. And it took me hitting bottom and saying, what the hell is going on in my relationship life? what am I doing? Because I'm the common denominator here, right? Men aren't bad people. So why do I keep attracting this to my life? And it took me really self-reflecting, and I did the work, and then I worked with a coach on it, I worked with a therapist on it, and I was like, oh, it all comes from my inner child not feeling accepted and playing that same game as an adult in my relationships, right? So it took all these learning lessons, all these relationships where I didn't respect myself, where I ended up in shitty situations, for me to finally go, bam, that's why that's happening. And from that moment forward, I had such an empowering commitment to myself that it hasn't happened since. And I'm so grateful for those relationships. I'm so grateful for what they taught me, because if it wasn't for that, I never would have studied. I never would have worked on myself. And that's why now, moving forward, I know I'm going to have the best people in my life, because I had to hit my head against a brick wall a few times, a brick wall of life, but I finally got it there. Oh, stop doing that. That hurts. Right. I get that lesson. So I'm so grateful for those relationships, because they taught me everything I needed to know to have a great one.
Amen, Mark Rosenfeld.
What sort of date's going to find that unattractive? Mark reminds me of Jon Snow. Sherry, it's about connection. We had, was there another question here? But yeah, anything like that. If you're framing it as a learning lesson, as I said, I had this client who went on 200 dates and she was ashamed of it. And so the way she framed it was about a learning experience. I think the guy asked her, what's something you learned in 2020, or is just introduced that way? And she said, you really want to know? He said, yeah, for sure. Well, actually, it was something that I was ashamed of for a while, because I just really wanted to meet someone, right? I was like, you know what? 2020 is going to be my year. I'm really going to meet someone. So I said to myself, I'm just going to go on heaps of dates, heaps and heaps of dates. But what I didn't realize, which I now know, was that at the time was just a cover for how lonely I was feeling inside. So I was going on these dates to try and find companionship when I wasn't even being a companion to myself. And it took me hitting my head against the wall. I think I went on over 100 dates, and I'm like, why aren't I meeting someone? And it took me, again, just hitting bottom to really get this lesson that, hey, you've got to be your own companion first. And until you do, you can't rely on that from someone else. So that's when I took 6 months. I said, you know what? I need to enrich my life. I'm going to address the fears that saw me going on all those days trying to find that external validation rather than finding it in here. I took all that time. I hit the reset button. And now I'm coming into such a place of abundance in my life. I know I'm totally great where I am. I'm totally fine on my own. But instead of coming to dating from a place of desperation where I'm hitting my head against the wall, I'm now coming to dating from a place of empowerment where I'm just like, oh, thank God I went on all those bad dates. I finally learned the reason I was doing things. Right. So anything that you think is shameful, if you genuinely see the empowerment there and you just present that to your date, there's pretty much nothing that you can say that can't be honestly framed in an attractive way and presented well. But you've got to take time to see the empowerment of it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'll say a lot of times in early dates with someone that I'm getting to know that I grew up in a house where my parents didn't argue. There was no confrontation in front of the kids. My mom had a rule, and because of that, I had a lot of issues in my early relationships with constructive confrontation, and owning my voice, because every time there was conflict, I would have a breakdown about it, because I didn't have any example that men and women disagreed in relationship. And so when you're able to vulnerably, from a self-aware and empowered place, share experiences that you've had, things that have happened in past relationships, and demonstrate not only that you're conscious of them, but that you're working through them, then, that isn't something that a guy's going to look at and he's going to be like, oh God, these people, this person's not doing this work, or this person's crazy or whatever. Just recognize that, you can be vulnerable in an empowered way. And I honestly think vulnerability is one of the most courageous and most empowering things that you can demonstrate when you're going out with a man. I love it when a woman is vulnerable with me. I think it's extremely attractive and magnetic.
And it shows such, even my current partner, she will catch herself and literally say, I'm so uncomfortable doing this because I know this is how I related to one of my parents growing up. And because she knows the story, because she's done the work, it's it just is so, I look at her as so empowered, because I'm like, oh, she's really taking responsibility. How cool is that? A woman that takes responsibility. So if you show up taking responsibility and saying, hey, this is where I was, this is where I am, a man's going to love that, because it's like, oh my gosh, this is an empowered woman who solves her problems. I'm not going to be being the dad to her. I'm going to have an actual partner here I can truly respect, who's going to empower herself.
Super hot. Super hot. You're like, oh my God, the chick's not going to be just like dumping her trauma onto me unconsciously. She's consciously working on herself. That's huge, because a man doesn't want to feel like, you know, your happiness is his job and that your sanity is his responsibility. And like, he's constantly having to manage and navigate your own unprocessed trauma and insecurities and stuff. So, you know, I love it when a woman demonstrates that she's done the work and doing the work. Carmela says, on a second date, I shared so vulnerably, my date got tears in his eyes, which that's powerful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that means that something you shared triggered and activated something for him that then he experienced and felt. So y'all shared a moment of vulnerable connection over a common thing, which is an incredible place to
Judy, great to see you on here.
Intimacy with people. Judy.
Yeah, vulnerability makes, and I think one thing I talk to clients about all the time is that attraction is built on the mountains. Connection is built in the valleys. And what I mean by that is attraction often feels really good. It's really fun. It's like the Instagram thing. It's, you know, being more confident, being more sexy and da-da-da. And then we look at these people who are perfect on Instagram, right? And so many of them have shitty relationships, because perfection and what makes us more attractive is fundamentally inhuman, right? Because humans can't be perfect. So what actually connects us is vulnerabilities. What actually connects us is the shit. It's when you ask a long-term married couple what kept them together, they don't say, oh, it was just the crazy chemistry that kept us together for 25 years. That's what it was. Just this.
It was the sex. It was
chemistry and sex. That's what kept us together. The great honeymoon. It was all that honeymoon to Fiji. They don't say that. They're like, do you know what it was? It was getting through our parents passing together. It was getting through us both losing a job. It's the shit that actually bonded them, right? So attraction is a nice start, and it can be very useful for like bringing people in and giving you options, but it's actually the vulnerability that makes you a real human, that builds connection.
It's the base. It's the foundation of connection. You know, I mean, my first Facebook Live that I ever did was the healing power of vulnerability, you know, because it was only through other people demonstrating vulnerability to me that I was able to start my own healing process and begin to transform my life. So I'm like, and anybody who's in my courses, anybody who's a part of my community knows that I practice radical vulnerability in my tribe, you know, and I firmly encourage all of y'all to do, because any guy who experiences healthy vulnerability from you and shuts down, freaks out, pushes away from you, goes bananas, that's a guy with massive unprocessed trauma that was a landmine waiting to be activated. And thank God it was activated sooner rather than later, right? Like, might as well get that out of the way and get that person out of your life and not consuming your time and energy anymore, you know?
Matt's got a drink again. I'm actually out of drinks at this point. I've been here for over 2 hours now. And
are you drinking like Mike's Hard Lemonade? Like, what are these, dude? What are you drinking? Like,
I got the Smirnoffs firing.
Smirnoff Ice, dude. This is a man who's fully connected to his feminine energy. He's chugging those Smirnoff Ices.
We I think this is the second time since March that I've drank, right? So there was March and then there was one time in between. And I don't know if this is a thing here, you tell me, but in Australia, there was a point about 18 months ago where every man gave into that old shit about vodka cruises and is like, fuck it, we're into them now. And vodka cruises has become a very male.
Is that what a Smirnoff Ice is over there?
Not quite. No. Smirnoff Ice is a bit different. But vodka cruises have become a big thing with the guys. Is that a thing here?
No, not at all.
Aussie guys love it now. Guys in Australia just like, fuck it. They taste good. We don't even care anymore. Into the cruises.
That's just terrible. That's just the depressing state of affairs, dude. That's just imbibing a vast amount of sugar to just like
Nah, you get the
poison.
sugar-free ones. They're sugar-free, mate.
Oh my God. Massive amounts of artificial sweetener. Yes.
Xyla something, yes.
Give me that xylitol, baby. Just inject that xylitol right into my carotid artery. Let's go. Oh yeah,
Courtney, Courtney, we do. Look, at this point, if we all have to get chipped, and if I have to get an iPad put in my back, if it gets us out into crowds again, I'm all for that. Like, let's do it. I'm happy. I just want to get out there and lick people again.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, we have a lot of tequila people out there. And if I thought this was tomorrow night. I thought we were actually doing this on Valentine's Day, but I guess Mark probably wants to spend Valentine's Day with his significant other or something. I mean,
who does
where
that?
are your priorities, Mark? Why do you not love your community? I thought this was tomorrow night. I was going to get a bottle of mezcal because honestly, like if I was sipping on anything while I'm talking to you ladies, it would be, you know, on a little mezcal, which is a lovely drink, Mark. If you've never had the mezcal.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my God. It's like smoked tequila. It's like tequila and scotch had a baby. So it's delicious. God. It's so good.
Nah.
What do you drink if you're not drinking girl drinks? What do you normally drink?
I pretty rarely drink.
Yeah.
So my only, like, the last 3 times I drank, once is with you guys, and then the other 2 times is if there's a good music gig on, music festival or something like that, I'll have some drinks. So, mate, whatever gets me pissed for a music festival, I don't really care. It's usually vodka.
Whatever gets me pissed for a music festival, put on your mind.
If I'm at a festival, if there's a good party on, I'll just get in that crowd and be happy that there's music. I don't think I'm ever going to appreciate live music as much as now, especially when it's been taken away from us.
Oh my God, dude. I'm like, I'm missing it, bro. I mean, I've been watching the Australian Open and I'm a huge fan. I'm a tennis nut.
Yeah, they just locked it down, didn't they?
It's been so nice to have fans. The whole first week there have been fans and the cheering and the craziness, and it's been so beautiful. Oh boy, here we go. Gendering on drinks. Brianne.
Yes, Matt. Listen to this comment, please.
Are you giving me the binary, non-binary?
Cruises and Smirnoff Ice does not mean I'm any less masculine than anyone else here.
No. Men deeply in their masculine can chug sugary, carbonated, low alcohol percentage drinks. I mean, my drink has a cinnamon stick in it, so I'm not sitting here swinging my wanker around like I'm, King Kong or whatever, but it is a hot toddy. It's got some bourbon in it. It's nice. It's a nice drink.
How's the food situation going?
Kelsey has allegedly purchased and there's some pad keemao chicken.
This is really a thing. How's she getting it to you?
I gave her my address. And
does she live in your state?
No, she just ordered it. The cool thing about the internet is there's no state lines. So you can just order anywhere.
I didn't know that about the internet.
Yeah. You could have ordered me some food, Mark.
I could have ordered you some food. In fact, I'm actually supposed to give my parents a call soon. So let's continue here with these ladies, and then I'm gonna call mum and dad for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Hey, they live in an island. We certainly do. Who's going to be single for Valentine's Day? Says KKM. What do you expect from Miss Knowledge? Hot toddy with bourbon.
I'm getting called out on my hot toddy.
You know what? No one's calling me out because I've already hit the low, right? You've got some standards to me. Everyone's given up on my drinking.
I got some Evan Williams. It's nice stuff. I mean, it's a high quality bourbon, I mean, with Jameson. I mean, I don't know. I like Jameson, but mostly in a car bomb. If I'm gonna do Jameson, it's like that's a college drink. I haven't had a car bomb since I was a wee lad. That was an old day. Kind of tolerant. So creamy.
Questions here. I think Jenna had one that I've missed. Here was Jenna's. I'm attracted to younger men. I'm divorced. Do I wait for a great man in my age bracket or have fun with the younger that doesn't last? Neither men fulfill me. Your thoughts? That's interesting.
That is interesting. So my question is, do both types of men not fulfill you in the same way? Because if that's the case, then maybe it's not about them. Maybe there's something that you get to work on that's stopping you from being fully fulfilled in a relationship. That's the first the first thing I think about that, right? And if it's a different thing, like say if younger men aren't fulfilling your desire for commitment and a lasting, stable relationship, but then men in your age bracket aren't fulfilling your need for fun and dynamic energy and good sex and everything else, if that's the situation, then, you know, there might be an issue that you've got a belief set where you've decided that younger men fill this role, older men fill this role. And you've like created these like roles and identities that younger men and older men play in your life and relationships. And because of that, you're just attracting men that fit those little cubby holes. You know what I'm saying? Because there are younger men out there that love being in relationship. And there are older men out there who can be awesome in bed and can be really fun and have a lot of youthful energy, right? The fact that you may have rigid definitions of what being with a younger man is and what being with an older man is could be more of a function of something that you get to let go of, right? Rather than, because not all men are one way or another way. That's my
I would almost take the age out, Jenna, and just go, okay, what are you looking for? You know, what I'd have you do your deal breakers, get clear on what's going to fulfill you, and then take age out of the equation. And with those in play, truly filter in for that. And then we'll find out, you know, are you going for the younger men because you feel that you have more control in that situation? It's not as risky for you. Or are you going for the older men because they are safe, but deep down, maybe you have a belief that, I can never find someone who's older and exciting. So you settle for that, and that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'd probably try to take the age out of it, say what's truly going to fulfill you in relationship, and then challenge you to filter that in regardless of age.
amen to that.
Denise says, hi, Mark. Hi, Denise. Great to speak with you. Great to have you on here. Denise, is that different Denise? Yeah, different Denise. Awesome. Says she got the funnies. Who else? Oh, that's, hold on, I got to scroll down here. Matt, compliment on the long hair. That's beautiful. We got some male bonding on here. Great idea. I don't know what was a great idea at this point.
I think us doing, or no, it was one of my ideas, so I'm just going to accept it. We don't need to know which one it is.
What else? Who else? Wow, man, that doesn't really drink. A few people commented on that. Yeah. I am not personally a big drinker. It's never been my thing.
Nah.
I also can't do weed. I've like tried it when I was younger. I'm just like, this just makes me slow and like kind of sad.
It slows me down too much, man. It slows me down too much. I love me some CBD. I have become a fan of the CBD. CBD, bro. CBD is legit, man. It gives you a relaxed sort of experience, but without the slowness and the cognitive like cloud, the brain fog that you get from pot. But some CBD gummies, I mean, are lovely.
KK needs a lawyer, Matt. So if you're still offering attorney services, KK's up for that.
I offer advice that you can pay me for as long as you don't call me your lawyer. You know, like
there's no
I will not be liable for the results. Okay,
none, especially given I'm three drinks in. God, I really am.
Listen, I litigate better with a couple drinks in me. Okay, I mean it's just like driving. You know, put a couple in me and I'm better. I mean,
long hair keeps you warm in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
I like this question. How do I find the right person even though no one is perfect? Do you want to start this one, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, starting with that fundamental truth that no one is perfect, and the goal isn't to find somebody that's perfect. The goal is to find somebody who's in alignment with what it is that you want to create in the world, with what it is that the sort of life that you want to experience. So the right person is the person that is congruent and in alignment with the vision that you have created for the type of life and relationship that you want. So as long as you go out into the world looking for a relationship anchored with clarity in the type of relationship you want and the sort of experience that you want to have with that person, then your only job is the right person is just the person who's the best fit for that role, right? The person who creates and the person who really helps you create and facilitate that. So you find the right person by stepping out into the world with a clear intention and with clarity around the type of relationship and the type of experience that you want to have. And then you release outcome dependence on your individual connections and experiences with men. You allow men to flow into your life, and you get to receive them and experience them and evaluate them, against the backdrop of, is this the type of relationship dynamic that I want to have? Is this person in alignment with my vision for the type of a life and relationship that I want to create for myself, right? And then you get to lovingly, either invite them further in or release them. And either way, they're not wrong. They're not the bad guy. You're not wrong. You're not the bad guy. You're not broken, right? But like releasing outcome dependence and just experiencing, different connections and just allowing them to flow in and out of your life until you find someone who's like that perfect fit for the life and relationship you want, and I mean a perfect fit, not a perfect person. Because he's going to have flaws. He's going to have baggage. He's going to have trauma. All human beings do, especially human beings who have gone out there and lived their lives, right? We've all picked up stuff along the way, And so that would be, that's my perspective on it. And I hope that resonates with you, because that's fundamentally what I invite all my clients and students to do. And I think that, Elda's like, yes, Elda knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
what do you think, Mark?
100%. And I think John Gottman says it best, right? You've got to find someone whose problems you're happy to live with.
I love that.
Yeah, it's you can't. You'll get one. You might like dating extroverts, or you'll get one partner who's a little more extroverted, but they're a little less confident in bed. And then you'll get a partner who's extroverted and more confident in bed, but they're messy around the house. Then you get someone who's confident, extroverted, confident in bed, extroverted, messy around the house, but they're not so good with your family. So in the end, I always get clients to set key deal breakers, things that are absolute. I want to have this in the future. And those essentially become like tick box things, like consistently respects me. That's a tick box, right, for a lot of clients. But then after that, all those nuances, you're not going to find the perfect person, because that perfect person doesn't exist. Person A is going to have problems, person B is going to have problems, person C is going to have problems. You're looking for someone with those fundamentals, and then they'll just, it's just like a computer game character. If you ever played a computer game, like some characters are like strong in certain traits and others are strong in other traits. There's no perfect. You get one that you're happy with, that you want to build with, and ask yourself the honest question: if this doesn't change, am I going to be at all resentful? Am I genuinely okay if this never changes? I think Gottman says 60% of problems will not be solved, and they'll stay as problems. So the question is not the perfect person. The question is, can you find a person whose problems you're okay with? And you've got to be real honest with yourself when answering that.
1,000%. Yeah, what does Kelsey say? A person whose demons play well with your own. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Kelsey also says enlightening concept to grasp. And look, men are on a growth process too. So it's not to say he has to be at an end point, but a lot of it is, like, for example, let's say a man is unemployed. A lot of women would like a man who has his professional life together. That's a pretty common standard I hear. But there's a difference between he's unemployed, he's not taken action on it in 3 years, and maybe he's only doing it because he's with you, versus a guy that you see is internally motivated. Yes, he may be unemployed now, but he was unlucky when he lost his job, and every day he's waking up self-motivated to change that, right? That's different. You're still looking at where he is now, but where he is now is a guy with a lot of internal motivation. So that's a nice tick for a lot of women, even though he might not be a super successful whatever yet. So it's looking at where he is now. Am I okay with where he is now with what I'm seeing? What does my intuition say about this? And then am I okay if that continues, what I'm seeing now?
Exactly. Yeah,
we got 9 minutes here, so get your last questions in, and then I'm going to call mum and dad because I miss them. I want to talk to them.
He's such a good boy.
I talked to
my parents like 3-4 hours ago when I was out in the snow. I FaceTimed.
KK's confused. There is all sorts of rumors going around about me. I had another client assume I was married. I don't know where these rumors are coming from. Oh, my mum's messaged me. Hold on, guys. Hold on. My mum's messaged me. I said, I'm running late, Mum. She said, there's a surprise. No problem.
Wow.
Sitting here unpacking.
Passive aggressive mom comment.
Sitting here unpacking, sewing, stuffed up. I wonder if I could show you this, actually. My mum made me the most beautiful thing. You know what? I'm going to see if I can get this, Matt. Hold the fort for 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
I can do that. I'll show you what my mom sent me. My mom sent me this card that says what you seek is seeking you. Isn't that cool? My mom just sent me that card, and inside it says, and you're proof of this. Good luck on your new launch, honey. We're rooting for you. Sending you lots of love, hugs, and prayers. See, this is classic supporting mom stuff, and I absolutely love it. It sounds like you got a good mom too, Mark.
This is a nice comment here. Look at that. Can mark him out, please?
Yeah.
All right, so ladies, look at this. So you know me, I'm a bit of a cat man. I love my animals, but I've always grown up with cats. So this is something this was my Christmas present from my mum this year. So check this out. Check this out here. You ready? This is, if I can unfold it.
Oh boy. A cat themed blanket. Here we go.
This is a cat quilt.
Oh my God, a cat quilt.
You can see that. This thing, every little cat is different, and these are all, I'll show you the other side as well. These are all hand sewn.
Wow.
These are all hand sewn. I don't know if you can see here, but there's every one of them is a bit different. The whole quilt.
The craftsmanship is fantastic.
Do you know how, I'm just trying to imagine like how many hours that would actually have taken her. But isn't that bloody beautiful? My cat loves it. She sits on it. But what a gift. What a gift. I felt very,
amazing.
Very lucky. That one, isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's having a cool mom is really a special thing. And I think that's part of why we're passionate about serving women is because, you know, we love women so much, which is
you're amazing.
Our own awesome mothers, right?
Absolutely. Let's have how long we got? 6 minutes before I got to call my mom. So
all right.
Let's check it out here. How does one figure out sexual chemistry without actually having intercourse? I don't like going out with someone that I know I would not enjoy being intimate with. Is that weird? Yeah, so Amy, what I'd say to this, if you're talking about actual sexual compatibility, which is like how you guys fit together and whether things work, I don't know if there's any way to predict it for sure. Maybe Matt has some ideas.
I always feel like kissing is a great place to start. Like, I feel like if the
That's
kissing
true, actually.
have you ever had terrible kissing, Mark, with somebody and then great sex?
That's a wonderful question.
I've never, I'll be honest with y'all. I've never had bad kissing followed
I
by.
don't think I have.
Yeah, so kissing is like for me, kissing is the canary in the coal mine as far as like the quality of what's to come, you know, because it's that first early barometer of physical intimacy, you know.
Yeah, I like that.
And so like just the way that y'all are comfortable, like are you comfortable in your bodies next to each other, you know? Is there casual touching? How are those first kisses? Like, how is that first, you know, physical intimacy? That's a great way of understanding, you know, do y'all have physical chemistry or not? You know, and Amy, there's nothing weird about not wanting to go out with somebody that you don't want to enjoy being intimate with. I think that's very reasonable. That's a very reasonable thing of only wanting to spend time with someone that romantically that you would want to eventually, you know.
The only thing I'd probably say there is just be a bit careful of that mindset expanding to other areas. Because imagine if I was going on a date with you, but before the date, somehow telepathically you knew that I was sitting at home going, oh man, I really only want to hang out with this girl if she's going to be good in bed. Oh, also, if she's got a good job, man, she better be funny or it's kind of a waste of time. Like, I think that attitude can be sometimes a little bit transactional. And I've definitely gone on dates with women where either there wasn't chemistry or where something didn't go so well, but I still wouldn't say I regret it because I still got to know another human being. I still made the choice to invest that time, and it was part of the bigger, same way you go to the gym, you stay fit, 3 times a week. You go dating, or maybe you spend time with your partner 3 times a week. Like that's still part of your relationship fitness. So I'd just be a little bit careful with slightly transactional attitudes, because in the same way you wouldn't probably want me thinking that about you, if a guy feels like you're sort of just crossing off a box before he's even been there, it can sometimes slip too far. So I'd probably say just watch that.
Yeah, I'm on board with that 100%. I just have to call attention to Rebecca Gobin, who just introduced me to 2 words that I've never heard before that I find freaking hilarious. Where she said, "Great kisser, but difficulties, wanxiety." That's hilarious. I've never heard either of those 2 words before, but now they're going to be with me for the rest of my life because I'm 100% going to use those. Like, homie's got difficulties. I think that is freaking hilarious.
And actually, that was something I was going to add as well, is I have definitely had situations where the sex has gotten better. Essentially, first time was a little clunky.
Better. You never have to.
Sometimes you have people where it's great right off the bat, and then that's actually like it's 10 out of 10, and then that's maybe a more avoidant person, and like the sex is great and the other stuff doesn't go so well, but it's the sex that keeps it. And with some really good people, sex gets better. So I think there's also fluidity there that I wanted to point out.
Yeah, I think sex in general, generally speaking, almost always gets better with practice. Like, very rarely do you have the best sex you're ever going to have with somebody those first couple times. In general, it's going to get better the more. It's like that, those PSAs, like, I know things are hard right now, but it gets better, right? Those like PSAs like out there. That's like, I know the sex is like mediocre right now, but it's going to get better, probably. Unless he's got difficulties or anxiety, in which case it might not get better. Hold on.
That'll get better. It'll get better anyway. Most of us guys have been there in our early sexual times.
Exactly. So Carmela had a situation, Mark, that you might take offense to, where she had a guy once kiss like a cat, which caused her to lose interest. And by Mark's standards, I would assume kissing like a cat would be a good thing because he has such an obsession with cats. But it sounds like Carmela, like kissing like a cat was not a good thing in your own experience.
My experience with kisses from a cat is they lick your nose. So that would be kind of weird.
Not very erotic. Not
if a girl came up to me, she was just like licking my nose, I'd be like,
and that sandpapery ass tongue.
But yeah, it feels like you're like, oh, I had this cat growing up, and she was so cute, a little chocolate point Burmese, and she would do this thing. She'd like lick your nose 4 times, and then she'd just do this gentle little bite. But the little bite meant her little, like, it was a little love bite. It was the cutest thing. But the little bite, her 2 canines would just like go right in there and just sneezing fucking fit every time.
Canines up your nose?
Yeah, the bottom ones. Just like, just super light. It was the cutest thing, but it always made me sneeze. It was, yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about being kissed by a female woman in that way. I don't think it would be great.
That's amazing. Yeah, I don't know if a woman were to put her canines in my nose if I'd be 100% like into that or not. Like if she were to just like take her like bottom canines and just like jam
just like
nose.
Yeah, you can. Val makes a good point here as well. You can often feel a lot of that sexual tension. Although, again, just I will say before, the women that I've had the absolute most sexual tension in my life, like, I want it, burns out. Like those haven't been the healthiest relationships in my experience. There's been a couple. If I was to score it out of 10, I don't think I've ever had like a 10 or a 9 go very long. 8s, yes, maybe 8. 1 8.5, but the 10s are always trouble.
They're all
it never ends well.
The 10s are always a 10 sexual.
I'm talking 10 chemistry here, by the way, in case you didn't get that.
Oh, yeah, well,
But
except for his current relationship, which is clearly a 10 chemistry, and it's the one exception to the rule that he's now stating. But
well, we don't actually say that. I always tell everyone that like, yeah, it started, our overall chemistry was 6 or 7. And we were actually friends for a long time, which was unusual for me. But yeah, we were friends for a lot first. So it's definitely been a builder, not a starter, that one for sure.
It's been a grower, not a shower, as the
grower,
ladies
not a shower. Precisely that. Spot on. But
I love
growing are beautiful. Like, it's so much healthier and more real. And we were even having this conversation the other day that, like, she was saying, you know, I don't have that same addictive chemistry with you that I had with the avoidant guys, and that's how I know it's healthier. So that was nice.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that's how you know. And I'm telling you, you know, like, that's the thing, you know, that's how you know the difference between genuine chemistry and triggering an activation of wounds and attachment styles. You know, like Mark and his girl have a healthy, like, the connection has legs because it's not predicated on triggering each other or activating each other's wounds and insecurities. Yeah. Which is a roller coaster of a ride. And a lot of times the best, you know, toxic sex happens when you're just firmly fucking each other's wounds. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's like sort of how it works, unfortunately. But you can have a sustainable, beautiful relationship with great sex and wonderful intimacy and incredible connection that is based in a legitimate, sustainable, you know, intimacy and vulnerability and growth. And that's what we want for all of you.
One thing I like to say is roller coasters can be fun, hell of a lot of fun. But if you've ever stayed on one, you get sick.
For days and weeks.
You stay on a roller coaster, it starts feeling good pretty fast. You get pretty,
You can only go over the top of that so many times.
Speaking of belly sickness, did you get any food, mate? What's the story?
It's on the way. It's on the way. It's a blizzard right now, so the delivery of food to my house with 5 inches of snow on the road, it takes a little while, but it will be here eventually. Hopefully I will still be conscious by the time it gets here.
Can they actually drive to your place? Can they?
They're driving to my damn place. I ain't picking that. I'm not leaving.
What, they put out there? I've never lived in snow. Do they put something on the front of the car? What do they do?
I mean, they can go with chains on their tires. You know, they can make it happen. Like, whoever, listen, all I know is Kelsey says she took care of it. There's food on the way. I'm trusting that. If not, you know, my blood is on Kelsey's hand. I'm just going to die, you know, here in my house of starvation and alcohol. And it's going to be Kelsey's fault because she told me that there was food on the way. And, you know, it didn't show up. So,
Kelsey, you will have that on your head. I hope, mate.
That'll be on your conscience, Kelsey. Oh, but so please, yeah. I mean, we're heading out the door. You know, Mark's got to go call his mommy, which I completely understand because that's a beautiful quilt that she got.
Gotta call my mom. Haven't spoken to her much lately, so I'm keen to.
I feel that. But before y'all do, if y'all are interested in transforming your relationships just in time for Valentine's Day, take a second, go to the link in the description or that Mark put in the comments. Sign up for Mastery of Connection. It's a free course with lots of live coaching from me, an incredible community of over 3,300 women and growing. You get live video lessons. We unpack your beliefs, your attachment style, your personality type. It's an incredible experience. And a lot of the ladies watching this call are currently in the class or have taken it before. And it'll really help you transform your relationships from the inside out. It'll be an amazing experience. And it would be perfect for y'all to sign up just in time for Valentine's Day. So come along to that course and have an amazing experience with us.
Thanks for being our Valentine's dates tonight, ladies. It means the world to us. And for those of you who are here from my channel, thank you so much for supporting me. For those of you who have dropped on over from Matt's, it's great to have you here. It's been a pleasure. Come visit again. It's great having you here. It's an awesome course. If you haven't signed up to that course, make sure you do. Hey, tonight was a real pleasure, so let's do it more often.
Absolutely, buddy. I'd be totally down.
Kelsey, feed Matt. We need him. Yes, I've been fed because I came prepared for the day. Matt, not so. Ladies, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for supporting our work to empower women around the world. You're amazing. Don't forget it. Matt, brother, thank you for joining me tonight.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for having me on. And thanks for everybody hanging out with us on this Valentine's Day Eve. Just recognize that no matter what your relationship status is, the most important relationship you have is your relationship with yourself. And you are inherently worthy of love because of the fact that you exist fundamentally. And so as long as you love yourself, or you're in the process of learning to love yourself, then your Valentine's Day is incredibly perfect. And it's unfolding exactly the way that it's supposed to. So we appreciate you.
See you soon, beautiful ladies.
Bye, ladies.